Welcome back, Rare Coin Insider. Imagine you're holding a coin in your hand, small, ordinary, and copper-colored. You might think it's worth just 1 cent. You might even toss it in your pocket or drop it on the floor without a second thought. But what if I told you that this small, shiny piece of metal, a 2018 1-cent coin, could be worth millions of dollars? Sounds crazy, right? Yet, stories like these are shaking the coin world, surprising collectors, and making everyday people realize that the change in their pockets could be a ticket to unimaginable fortune. Let's dive deep into this mysterious world of the 2018 penny, a coin that might just make you question everything you thought you knew about money, history, and hidden value. Now, before we jump into the heart of this story, let's take a close look at the coin itself. The 2018 1-cent coin, known officially as the Lincoln Shield cent, was minted by the United States Mint and is still one of the most common coins in circulation today. It replaced the old Lincoln Memorial design in 2010, and it features a new, bold shield on the reverse, symbolizing the strength and unity of the United States. The obverse, or front side, of the coin still proudly bears the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, whose image has graced the penny since 1909. The coin's designer, Victor David Brenner, first sculpted Lincoln's face over a century ago, and even though the reverse design changed several times over the years, Lincoln's image stayed, a timeless tribute to the man who held the nation together during the Civil War. When you look closely at the 2018 penny, you'll notice a few important details. Above Lincoln's head, it says, "In God we trust." To his left is the word, "Liberty." And on the right-hand side, you'll see the date, 2018, often followed by a small mint mark, either a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or no letter at all, which means it was minted in Philadelphia. The weight of this coin is around 2.5 grams, and it has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, small but mighty in history and meaning. Unlike the older pennies that were mostly made of copper, modern pennies, including the 2018 one, are actually 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper plating. That's right. What looks like copper is mostly zinc underneath. But here's where things start getting interesting. While billions of these 2018 Lincoln Shield cents were produced, a few rare errors and varieties turn out to be worth an incredible amount of money. And that's what sent shockwaves through the collector world. These aren't just tiny imperfections. They're unique minting mistakes or special variations that collectors go absolutely crazy for. Some 2018 pennies have misprints, doubled images, off-center strikes, or even wrong planchets, meaning they were struck on a piece of metal meant for another coin. When these mistakes happen, they create coins that are one of a kind. And in the world of numismatics, the art and science of coin collecting, rarity equals value. For example, imagine finding a 2018 penny that was struck twice, where Lincoln's face appears doubled, or where the shield on the back looks slightly shifted. To the average person, it might just look like a damaged coin. But to a trained eye, that tiny error could be worth thousands, or even millions, of dollars. In fact, some collectors have sold rare error coins from the same decade for tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. One particularly famous case involved a penny mistakenly struck on a silver dime planchet, a tiny, shiny, misplaced miracle, and it fetched a jaw-dropping price at auction.so. When the rumor spread that a 2018 penny could be worth as much as $32 million, the internet exploded. People rushed to check their pockets, dig through their coin jars, and open their old piggy banks. The idea that something so small, something everyone thought was worthless, could be a hidden treasure, that idea caught fire. But is it true? Could a 1-cent 2018 penny actually be worth that kind of money? Well, to understand that, we need to step back into history. The penny has a long and fascinating story that begins in 1793, when the very first 1-cent coin was minted in the United States. Back then, pennies were made entirely of copper and were almost as big as today's $half. They weren't just currency, they were a symbol of the nation's independence, a tangible expression of America's new identity. As decades passed, the design of the penny evolved. From the flowing hair, cent, to the Indian head, cent, and finally to the Lincoln cent, introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Each version carried a piece of American history. The Lincoln cent was revolutionary. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and not just any person, but one of the most beloved presidents in history. It became an instant hit. Collectors loved it. Ordinary people respected it. And over time, it became the most produced coin in the entire history of the world. Fast forward to 2018, and the penny had already seen over a century of design changes, metal shortages, wars, inflation, and controversy. Some even argued that the penny should be discontinued altogether because it costs more than 1 cent to produce. But despite that, the U.S. Mint continued to strike billions of them, including the now famous 2018 batch. Now, when it comes to the supposed $32 million value, the truth is more complicated. Not every 2018 penny is worth that much. Far from it. But there are stories of specific, rare variants fetching unbelievable prices because of unique minting errors, provenance, or collector hype. Sometimes, it's not even the metal itself that's valuable. It's the story behind it. In the collector's world, stories drive value. A penny that survived a minting disaster, or one that was struck in microscopic detail showing a doubled 2018, becomes legendary. When collectors bid, they're not just buying a coin, they're buying a piece of history, a piece of luck, a piece of something irreplaceable. What makes the 2018 penny so special? First, its design. The reverse side, the Union Shield, isn't just decorative. It carries deep symbolism. The shield, with its 13 vertical stripes, represents the original 13 colonies of the United States. The horizontal bar across the top symbolizes the federal government, holding the states together. And across the shield, you'll see a banner that reads, 1 cent, a simple reminder of unity and value. It's a design that was chosen to replace the Lincoln Memorial reverse used from 1959 to 2008. The new shield design was meant to reflect Lincoln's legacy of preserving the Union. Every time you look at that coin, you're looking at a miniature monument to the idea of unity, a message that remains powerful even today. Second, the 2018 coin marks a period of renewed collector interest. Around this time, YouTube videos, social media posts, and online forums started catching fire with claims about pennies worth millions. Some videos showed close-ups of error coins, others shared unbelievable auction prices, and many created a viral storm that made people across the world start checking their change. Even though not every claim was true, what was true is that some rare 2018 coins, especially those with confirmed mint errors, were selling for serious money. Coins with double die obverse, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, and cut errors, where parts of the die break off, leaving raised metal blobs on the coin, became hot property. Collectors began hunting specifically for the 2018D, 2018P, and 2018S varieties. They examined the mint marks, the strike quality, and the color tone, whether red, RD, red-brown, RB, or brown, BN, because those subtle differences can significantly affect value. A 2018D penny graded MS70 by PCGS or NGC, meaning perfect condition, could already fetch a premium price. Add an error, and the price skyrockets. Let's pause and imagine this. You're at home, maybe cleaning out your drawer, and you find a shiny 2018 penny. It looks normal, but something catches your eye. Maybe the 8 in 2018 looks a little thicker. Maybe Lincoln's eye looks doubled. You grab a magnifying glass or use your phone camera zoom, and suddenly you notice something strange, a tiny minting error. Your heart starts racing. Could it be one of those ultra-rare coins people are talking about? This is how most legendary discoveries start, not in fancy collections, but in ordinary places, by ordinary people. And that's part of the magic of coin collecting. It's a hobby that turns everyday life into a treasure hunt. But let's get scientific for a moment. A coin's value depends on three major factors: condition, rarity, and demand. Condition, often called the grade, ranges from poor, P1, to perfect mint state, MS70. A coin that's been in circulation, scratched, or worn down will naturally be worth less. But an uncirculated coin, one that looks like it just came out of the mint, can be worth many times its face value. Rarity comes from how many of that specific coin exist. Even if billions were made, only a few may have a particular mint error or unique feature. Those rare survivors are the ones collectors fight over. Demand is the emotional side. Sometimes a coin story or hype makes it far more desirable than logic would suggest. The 2018 penny became a perfect storm of all three: common enough to be relatable, rare enough to spark excitement, and surrounded by just enough mystery to make people dream big. Now, let's talk about the market reality. While the legendary $32 million claim sounds extreme, verified auctions for rare error coins, including 2018 cents, have indeed crossed into thousands and even tens of thousands of dollars. Coins authenticated by major grading companies like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, have sold for life-changing amounts when found in pristine condition with special traits. Collectors love the thrill of the hunt, and auctions like Heritage Auctions, Great Collections, and Stack's Bowers have all featured penny lots that sold for small fortunes. One of the reasons rumors, like the $32 million penny, gain traction is because of historical precedents. For instance, the 1943 bronze Lincoln cent, accidentally struck on copper instead of steel during World War II, has sold for over $1 million. Then, there's the 1955 double-die Lincoln cent, famous for its doubled lettering, which has fetched tens of thousands. So, when people hear about another rare penny, like the 2018, being sold for huge money, it sounds believable, because it has happened before. The legend grows. People start checking their change. Videos go viral. And suddenly, the penny becomes more than a coin. It becomes a cultural phenomenon. But beneath all the hype, there's something deeper. The story of the 2018 penny is a story about attention. Most of us walk through life overlooking the small things, the 1-cent moments that seem insignificant. Yet, sometimes, those are exactly where the hidden treasures lie. That's why coin collectors have a saying: every coin has a story. And the 2018 penny's story is still being written. Even today, collectors and enthusiasts continue to analyze these coins, searching for patterns, varieties, and unreported errors. Some have even sent coins to professional graders just to confirm whether their discovery might be the next big thing. And once in a while, lightning strikes. Someone finds a genuine rarity, and their life changes overnight. But whether it's worth 1 cent or 32 million, the 2018 penny represents something powerful: the possibility that value hides in plain sight. That sometimes, the things we overlook are the ones that can surprise us the most. Now that you understand the foundation, the design, symbolism, and early buzz around the 2018 Lincoln Shield cent, let's peel back the next layer: how these coins are actually born, how errors sneak into existence, and why certain 2018 pennies are commanding jaw-dropping figures in today's collector markets. Because to know why a single cent can explode in value, you have to know the hidden mechanics of minting itself. The process where perfection is demanded, but imperfection creates fortune. Picture a massive U.S. mint facility. The rhythmic thunder of stamping presses shakes the air. Copper-plated zinc blanks, called planchets, pour down steel chutes like rivers of tiny suns. Each blank is weighed, washed, and inspected before meeting a die, the engraved steel punch that carries the coin's design. When the upper and lower dies strike the planchet with forces exceeding 50 tons, the Lincoln portrait and Union Shield design are born in a split second. Millions of coins are produced this way every single day, but here's the fascinating twist. When you're producing billions of coins under such pressure, even microscopic misalignments, dirt, or double strikes can transform an ordinary penny into a minting marvel. And because 2018 was a heavy production year, the statistical odds of rare errors were surprisingly high, giving birth to what collectors now call the 2018 error boom. To appreciate the full picture, let's break down some of the types of errors and varieties that make 2018 pennies valuable. But remember, we're doing this narratively, not as a dry list. Imagine yourself finding one of these. You hold the coin up under a bright light. The first thing you notice, Lincoln's eye seems doubled, like a faint shadow peeking from beneath. That's what experts call a double die obverse, when the die itself was engraved twice at slightly different angles before minting. It's not the coin that doubled, it's the tool that created it. This kind of error can turn a 1-cent piece into a 4-figure collectible overnight, because it's rare and verifiable under magnification. Then there's the off-center strike. Instead of Lincoln's face being perfectly centered, it's shifted toward one edge, leaving a crescent-shaped blank space of raw metal. If the date remains visible, especially 2018, that coin's value can skyrocket. Why? Because collectors love dramatic visual errors that can be easily spotted without a microscope. Next comes the broad strike, when the collar, the steel ring that holds the coin in place during striking, malfunctions. The result is a coin that looks stretched, like it melted outward but kept its design intact. A 2018 broad strike with clear details can sell for hundreds. Another fan favorite is the cut error. Picture this. Part of the die breaks off, leaving a blank void. Every coin struck afterward shows a raised blob of extra metal in that spot, unique to that broken die. Cuts are fascinating because they show the coin's life cycle, the moment a machine started failing yet kept producing money. And then, of course, the wrong planchet error, the holy grail for many collectors. Sometimes, a stray blank mint for a dime, nickel, or foreign coin slips into the penny press. The design gets struck, but the size, weight, and metal composition are all wrong. A 2018 penny struck on a dime planchet, for instance, would be lighter, silvery, and slightly smaller. A spectacular rarity that can fetch thousands, even tens of thousands, at auction. Each of these errors tells a story, not of perfection, but of imperfection made immortal. And 2018 produced just enough of them to ignite a frenzy. Let's zoom out for a second. The coin market operates much like the art world. Supply and demand dance around perception and rarity. A painting by a famous artist sells for millions not because of the paint or canvas, but because of identity and story. Coins are no different. A normal 2018 cent might buy nothing more than a fraction of a candy bar, but a certified mint error can carry the weight of history and the emotional punch of discovery. By 2019, word had spread across collector forums, YouTube, and Reddit. Videos with titles like, "Check your 2018 pennies, one sold for $32 million, exploded in views. Some creators showcased magnified footage of double dates. Others displayed off-center specimens, or weird metallic hues suggesting wrong planchets. Many of these videos blended fact with folklore, but the result was electric. millions of ordinary people started hunting for treasure in their pockets. Coin dealers began reporting customers walking in with jars of 2018 pennies, asking for appraisals. Some coins were genuine varieties. Others were simply damaged or corroded from circulation. But the enthusiasm was undeniable. Now, let's step into the grading rooms, the quiet sanctuaries of numismatics where fortune is measured in microscopic detail. Professional graders at PCGS, NGC, and Anax examine each coin under precise lighting and magnification. They wear cotton gloves, breathe carefully, and record every hairline mark. If your 2018 penny shows no wear, no scratches, sharp strikes, and that warm red copper glow, it could earn a grade of MS67 or even MS70, mint state perfection. Those top-tier grades dramatically boost value. A 2018 D Lincoln Shield Cent graded MS70 RD can already command over $100 from dedicated collectors. Combine that with a dramatic mint error, and suddenly you're no longer talking hundreds. You're entering the realm of thousands or more. But what about that mythical $32 million price tag everyone whispers about? Let's dissect that logically. Number 2018 penny has officially sold for such an astronomical figure, at least not through public auction records. However, the viral claim likely sprang from exaggerated headlines and misinterpreted sales involving older, genuinely rare pennies that did fetch millions, like the 1943 bronze Lincoln cent or the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar. When social media blended those real events with the 2018 era buzz, the legend was born. Still, myths have power. And in a strange way, the myth itself added value. People love stories of hidden riches, and belief drives the hunt. Suddenly, the 2018 penny became symbolic, not of its literal worth, but of possibility. Now, let's journey into the timeline of production. The U.S. Mint operates in multiple facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, and occasionally West Point. In 2018, both Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D, produced the bulk of the circulating cents. San Francisco struck proofs, mirror-finished coins made especially for collectors, sealed in protective cases. Each mint has its quirks. Denver coins often show slightly stronger strikes due to their newer equipment, while Philadelphia coins sometimes exhibit minor die deterioration, doubling, a subtle shadow effect around letters. These nuances give birth to micro-varieties that collectors chase obsessively. A fascinating subset of 2018 pennies includes S-Mint proofs graded PR70 DCM, red. They shimmer like tiny mirrors, their field so reflective that they almost look liquid. A flawless 2018 S proof might retail for $30 to $50, but if an error-proof surfaced, imagine a double-struck mirrored proof, it would be a blockbuster. Now, let's weave in some numismatic science. Zinc-based pennies, like the 2018 Shield Cent, have a fragile core. Over time, if the copper plating cracks, air and moisture corrode the zinc beneath, creating bubbling or blistering. Many beginners mistake this corrosion for a mint error, but professionals can tell instantly. Real mint errors show structural misstrikes, not chemical decay. That's why, if you suspect your coin might be special, the best first step is to weigh it. A genuine 2018 cent should weigh about 2.5 grams. If it's significantly lighter or heavier, say 2.3 grams or 2.7 grams, it might be struck on the wrong planchet or have an unusual composition. Use a digital scale accurate to 0.01 gram. Those few decimals can mean the difference between pocket change and treasure. Let's imagine another cinematic moment. A teenager in rural Ohio empties his wallet to pay for gas. The clerk notices something strange about one penny. The color seems off, almost silver. Curious, he swaps it out and later posts a photo online. Within hours, experts flood the comments. That looks like a 2018 penny on a dime planchet. Weeks later, it's authenticated by PCGS and sells for over $10,000 at auction. True or not, stories like this circulate every year, feeding the thrill of the chase. And that's what makes coin collecting unlike any other hobby. It's part science, part art, part detective work. You're not just buying metal, you're buying mystery. Let's step back into history again, because understanding the penny's cultural weight helps explain the obsession. Abraham Lincoln wasn't just placed on the coin randomly. In 1909, it marked 100 years since his birth, and it was the first U.S. coin to honor a real human rather than an allegorical figure like Liberty. That decision changed American coinage forever, making the penny both a patriotic token and a historical relic. The reverse design changed over time. First wheat ears, 1909 to 1958, then the Lincoln Memorial, 1959 to 2008, and finally the Union Shield, 2010 onward. Each shift symbolized an era in American identity. The shield design, chosen after a public competition, intentionally connected back to Lincoln's legacy of unity. So when you hold a 2018 cent, you're holding a continuation of that century-long narrative, a thread linking generations. Collectors feel that emotional pull. Owning a flawless or unique 2018 cent isn't just about profit. It's about possessing a modern artifact, minted in a turbulent world yet echoing a timeless ideal. Now, let's talk about market behavior. Coin markets fluctuate like mini stock exchanges. Values rise and fall depending on demand, economic mood, and new discoveries. When influencers or major numismatic channels highlight a specific coin, say, the 2018 P double die penny worth $15,000, searches spike overnight. Prices follow. That digital virality has become a real economic force, breathing life into coins that might otherwise stay unnoticed. Professional investors even track these spikes. Some buy up bulk rolls of uncirculated 2018 pennies from the mint, store them in climate-controlled vaults, and wait for new varieties to be discovered. They call it roll hunting, searching sealed rolls for hidden gems. It's tedious work but occasionally pays off spectacularly. For example, imagine you purchase a $25 box of 2018 pennies, 2,500 coins. Statistically, you might find minor die chips or color variations. But if you stumble upon one major double die, the resale could exceed the cost of the entire box many times over. That possibility keeps treasure hunters hooked. Another major factor influencing 2018 penny values is grading population, the number of coins already certified at each grade level. If PCGS lists only 10 examples graded MS70RD for 2018D, scarcity drives price up. When more people submit and the population increases, prices drop. It's a living, breathing marketplace shaped by discovery itself. Beyond America, international buyers play a huge role. Collectors from Japan, Germany, and the Middle East often pay premium prices for modern U.S. coins with dramatic errors. Online platforms like eBay, Great Collections, and Heritage Live have turned these transactions global. A coin found in Texas could sell to a buyer in Dubai within hours. That's how fast the modern numismatic ecosystem moves. Now, consider the human psychology behind all this. A penny, by design, feels disposable. So when one suddenly becomes precious, it flips our mental script about value. It reminds people that wealth isn't always visible or obvious. That's why viral penny stories captivate audiences. They speak to the dream of discovery, the idea that something overlooked could secretly be priceless. So, when a 2018 cent is rumored to be worth $32 million, the number itself may be exaggerated, but the symbolism hits home. It's not about $32 million. It's about curiosity, hope, and the thrill of finding meaning in the mundane. Still, let's stay grounded. Real-world auction data shows that top-rated 2018 Shield cents with significant errors have sold in the $1,000 to $5,000 range, with some proof errors climbing higher. Those numbers are verifiable and impressive enough. And who knows, the next unreported variety could change those records again. Before we wrap this section, here's something for collectors and storytellers alike. Every 2018 penny you encounter carries a fingerprint of its creation. Tiny differences in luster, strike pressure, or die wear make each one unique. In a philosophical sense, no two pennies are truly identical, just as no two moments in time ever repeat. Maybe that's why people keep searching, because the quest itself mirrors life's constant search for meaning amid repetition. The next time you receive change at a store, take a second look. Turn that penny over. Watch how light plays on the Union Shield, how the words, E pluribus unum, arc gracefully above it. Think of the machines that forged it, the hands that passed it, the myths it inspired. That little disc of metal has traveled through invisible currents of commerce and chance, through pockets, purses, and vending machines, carrying with it the possibility of discovery. Maybe it's worth 1 cent. Maybe, under the right circumstances, it's worth far more. But its real value might lie in what it makes you feel. That spark of curiosity, that reminder that wonder still hides in everyday life. So now you understand how the 2018 penny came to life, how errors are born, and how myths become markets. But what happens next, after someone actually finds one of these coins? What's the process? From discovery to authentication to the moment that tiny piece of metal becomes a financial miracle? Let's walk through that journey step by step, because this is where fantasy meets reality, where curiosity becomes evidence, and evidence turns into value. Imagine this scene. You're sitting at your kitchen table late at night, surrounded by loose change. Maybe you're just bored, maybe you're curious after watching a video like this one. You pour out a handful of pennies. Most are dull, brown, and scratched. But one catches the light differently. It's a 2018. It shines a little more red, the letters seem thicker, the date slightly shadowed. You pull out your phone, zoom in, and your pulse quickens. You think you see doubling around. Liberty. That's how almost every legendary coin discovery starts, with doubt, excitement, and that spark of possibility. Your first step should always be research. Look up photos of confirmed 2018 double die cents. Websites like Variety Vista, Wexler's Die Varieties, and Copper Coins catalog thousands of known varieties. You compare your coin under bright light, rotating it gently. If the doubling matches known patterns, you might be onto something huge. But remember, human eyes can be tricked. Sometimes machine doubling, caused by a loose press, can mimic true double dies. True doubling happens on the die before striking, so the details remain sharp and raised. Machine doubling usually looks flat, shelf-like, and lifeless. It's a subtle difference, but it's what separates gold from glitter in numismatics. Once you believe your 2018 penny might be genuine, you must protect it. Never clean it. That's the #1 mistake beginners make. Cleaning removes the original surface, which instantly kills collector value. Instead, handle it only by the edges, preferably wearing gloves, and place it in a 2x2 cardboard flip or a plastic coin holder. Now comes the nerve-wracking part: authentication. Professional grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, are the industry gold standard. They don't just verify the coin's authenticity, they grade its condition and encapsulate it in a tamper-proof slab, permanently sealed with a barcode and serial number. That slab turns your find into an official collectible recognized worldwide. Submission costs can range from $20 to $100 per coin, depending on tier and speed. It might sound expensive, but if your coin turns out to be rare, It's like paying a few dollars to open a treasure chest. Now let's explore what happens next, the grading scale. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale, which runs from 1 to 70. A grade of 1 means the coin is barely recognizable, worn smooth by time. Grades from 60 to 70 are considered mint state, MS, uncirculated. Nowhere. MS 70 is the perfect coin, flawless under 5x magnification. The difference between an MS 65 and MS 70 might be invisible to most people, but to collectors, it can mean the difference between $20 and $2,000. In the world of 2018 pennies, even a common coin graded MS 70 RD, red, can bring surprising money because perfect modern coins are rare. Add an error or a variety, and you're now talking serious numbers. Let's dive into real-world cases and data, because stories are great, but facts make them real. In 2021, a collector sold a 2018 D penny with a dramatic off-center strike, about 50% off, for nearly $1,200 at auction. The coin had strong details and a visible date, which collectors crave. Another example, a 2018 P penny featuring a large die crack across Lincoln's head sold for $350, not because of metal value, but because the break pattern was bold and aesthetic. In another instance, a proof 2018 S Shield Sync graded PR70 deep cameo fetched around $100, simply due to perfection and mirror finish. These numbers might sound modest compared to the mythical millions, but in coin collecting, steady appreciation is real wealth. Many coins that once sold for $50 are now worth thousands decades later. But the story doesn't end with public sales. Behind the scenes, private collectors, dealers, and investors negotiate quiet transactions far beyond official records. That's how legends begin. A coin sells privately for a life-changing amount, whispers spread, and soon every 2018 penny in America is being examined under magnifying glass. Let's talk about the economics of rarity. There's a concept in numismatics called conditional rarity. It means even a common coin can become rare in top condition. Billions of 2018 cents exist, but very few remain flawless. No contact marks, no nicks, no dull luster. Every step in circulation kills perfection. That's why unopened rolls, mint sets, and proof coins are so coveted. They preserve that untouched brilliance. Conditional rarity explains why some modern coins, despite huge mintages, achieve stunning auction prices. Collectors aren't paying for the year, they're paying for the impossible condition. It's like owning a car from 2018 with 0 miles and factory plastic still on the seats. Now imagine combining conditional rarity with a dramatic error. That's when value can explode, not because the metal is precious, but because the moment is unrepeatable. And that's the essence of the 2018 penny craze. It's not just about money. It's about the thrill of finding something extraordinary among billions of ordinary things. But there's another side, the skeptic's view. Some experts argue that viral hype distorts value. They warn new collectors not to fall for inflated claims or fake $1 million penny listings online. Many sellers use clickbait to lure buyers into overpaying for minor die chips or discolorations. True mint errors are authenticated by experts, not exaggerated by captions. If you're diving into the 2018 penny market, arm yourself with knowledge. Read grading guides, follow reputable YouTube numismatists, and compare confirmed varieties. Education protects you from disappointment and sharpens your eye for the real treasures. Now let's dig deeper into what makes collectors emotionally attached to a coin like this. It's not just history, it's humanity. Coins carry time in their texture. The 2018 penny has already passed through millions of hands. Students, workers, shopkeepers, dreamers. It's been traded for coffee, candy, and kindness. Yet among those countless moments, one coin might hold a secret, an error, a flaw, a symbol of fate. And that's why these stories capture the imagination. People love the idea that fate hides in plain sight, disguised as pocket change. To appreciate this even more, let's explore a few historical parallels. In 1943, during World War II, the U.S. Mint switched penny production from copper to zinc-coated steel to save copper for ammunition. But a few copper planchets accidentally slipped through. Those pennies, the 1943 bronze cents, became the stuff of legend. Only about 40 are known to exist, and one sold for over $1.70 million. Then came the 1955 double-die Lincoln cent, where the entire date and lettering appeared doubled. That error was so dramatic it was visible without magnification. It sold for $1,500 upon release, and now commands tens of thousands depending on condition. These historical treasures prove that lightning does strike. And when it does, it's not always in the past. The next great rarity might be sitting in your pocket right now, maybe even that 2018 penny you ignored. Let's move into the collector's psychology behind all this. Coin collecting, at its core, is about order and discovery, the human desire to find patterns, to understand value, to hold history in hand. When people collect, they aren't just accumulating metal discs, they're building narratives. Every coin tells a micro-story: who designed it, why it changed, what it survived. That's why the 2018 Shield cent connects so deeply. It's modern yet historical. It's familiar yet mysterious. It's accessible to everyone yet still hides secrets for those who look closely. In an era of digital currency, it's a tangible reminder that value can be held, not just displayed on a screen. Now, let's look at current market trends, the realistic side of the 2018 pennies worth in 2025. Average circulated 2018 pennies are still worth 1 cent, of course. But certified high-grade specimens, or error coins, command anywhere from $10 to $5,000, depending on variety. The rarest documented errors, like double strikes or misaligned dies, can fetch even higher sums at specialized auctions. As of this year, the numismatic community continues to monitor 2018 pennies for unreported die varieties. Every few months, someone discovers a new minor double die or die crack, submits it to grading companies, and adds it to the catalog. Slowly, the picture of 2018's minting anomalies grows richer. There's another angle: international numismatics. Because U.S. coins are collected globally, rare American cents circulate far beyond U.S. borders. In some Asian markets, a certified error cent can sell for double or triple its American auction price simply because of exotic appeal. The 2018 penny, with its modern design and vibrant copper hue, is particularly attractive to new collectors abroad. But let's get philosophical again, because the penny's magic isn't just in money. It's in meaning. Think about this. A single cent represents the smallest recognized unit of value in one of the world's most powerful economies. It's humble, often overlooked, yet foundational. The penny teaches a lesson about scale, that greatness often begins small. And when that tiny object suddenly becomes priceless, it reminds people that anything, or anyone, can become extraordinary. That's why the story of the 2018 penny transcends economics. It's a metaphor about attention, patience, and perspective. Still, let's not forget the technical beauty of its design. The Lincoln portrait on the obverse, sculpted originally by Victor David Brenner and modified by Lendl Bass for the modern era, remains one of the most iconic profiles in all numismatics. The subtle details, Lincoln's collar fold, the curve of his cheek, the spark in his engraved eye, are works of art in miniature. The reverse's Union shield, crafted by designer Lendl Bass and sculptor Joseph Mena, is a masterpiece of symbolism. The 13 stripes for the original colonies, the single horizontal bar for unity, and the banner, 1 cent, crossing the shield represent national resilience. The Latin phrase, e pluribus unum, out of many, one, sits above, echoing the American ideal. Even the texture of the coin carries story. Those tiny ridges, the grain of the copper plating, the microscopic imperfections, all reflect human craft and machine precision blended into one dot, and the weight, precisely 2.5 grams, may sound trivial, but it's part of a long evolution. Older pennies weighed 3.11 grams, made of bronze. But since 1982, cost-saving changes led to zinc cores with copper plating. This shift not only altered the coin's sound and feel but also created new potential for striking errors when planchets of different metals mixed accidentally. That's how some rare zinc-copper transition errors came into being, and why 2018 pennies on wrong planchets fascinate experts. So yes, beneath every 2018 penny hides an engineering miracle, billions of flawless strikes, and a handful of glorious accidents. Now, imagine the future. 50 years from now, when digital money dominates and physical coins become relics, the 2018 penny might be viewed the way we now view coins from the early 1900s, as nostalgic artifacts of a tangible era. A mint error from 2018 could then easily command hundreds of thousands simply because time adds rarity. Collectors often say, "Buy the story, not the metal." The 2018 penny's story is still unfolding, and those who pay attention early could be holding tomorrow's legend. So, what should you do right now? Start by checking your change, yes. But more importantly, start looking at coins differently. Each one is a product of design, politics, and physics. Each one carries the fingerprint of its moment in history. The 2018 penny isn't just about chasing a mythical $32 million price tag. It's about reconnecting with curiosity, that childlike wonder that asks, "What if?" What if the coin you drop on the floor today is the one the world talks about tomorrow? The hunt is real. The market is alive. And the story is far from over. By now, you can feel it. The energy surrounding the 2018 one-cent coin isn't just about numbers, it's about fascination. But what happens when fascination meets money? That's when markets ignite, and myths become investments. Let's step into the world of coin auctions, where fortunes are made in moments shorter than a heartbeat. Picture a grand auction hall, velvet curtains, the soft murmur of collectors, and a single coin projected on a massive screen. The bidding starts modestly, $500, then $1,000, $5,000, and suddenly jumps to six figures. The crowd gasps. Cameras flash. Someone on the phone with an overseas client raises the bid to $250,000. In less than a minute, a single penny becomes a symbol of human obsession with rarity. That's not exaggeration. It happens. The 2018 penny, when tied to a confirmed dramatic mint error or unique strike, becomes a treasure no algorithm can replicate. Wealthy collectors chase stories, not copper. They buy emotion, mystery, legacy, the chance to own something nobody else can. And here's the secret behind those multi-million-dollar valuations you see whispered online. They're not random. They're projections of rarity times desire. You see, when a coin like the 2018 cent is rumored to have a $32 million valuation, it's not because of its metal content. It's because of symbolic uniqueness. If only one or two examples exist, and if they capture the public imagination, value can spiral far beyond logic. This phenomenon has a name in economics: perceived scarcity. It's what drives the art market, luxury collectibles, and yes, numismatics. If the story becomes legendary enough, price becomes secondary. What people are buying is a piece of myth, but behind every myth, there's a spark of truth. Let's rewind to how such viral coin stories begin. One day, a collector or TikTok creator posts a video. This 2018 penny sold for $32 million. Maybe they saw a screenshot, or misread an auction article. It spreads. Millions of people watch, share, and suddenly everyone's checking their change. The story snowballs, and even though the number may be exaggerated, something beautiful happens. People rediscover curiosity. Kids, teenagers, parents, all start learning about mint marks, die varieties, and history. A myth, in a strange way, educates. That's what gives the 2018 penny its power. It doesn't matter whether one really sold for $32 million yet. What matters is that millions now believe it could. And belief is what drives attention drives demand, and demand drives value. You can trace this effect back decades. Remember the 1955 double die cent? When it was discovered, only a few thousand existed. Word spread like wildfire through newspapers and coin clubs. People tore through their piggy banks, grocery stores, and parking meters looking for one. The excitement created an entire generation of collectors, people who started as penny hunters and became lifelong numismatists. That same cycle is repeating now, in the digital age. Videos, Reddit posts, and forums amplify stories of modern coin finds. Someone claims they sold a 2018 penny for a car, or that a collector in Texas offered millions for a specific error. Whether every claim is verified or not is irrelevant. What matters is that the legend keeps the market alive. Now let's zoom in on the mechanics of value. In numismatics, price isn't fixed by metal, it's determined by 5 pillars: rarity, how many exist; demand, how many want it; condition, how perfect it is; historical importance, why it matters; market momentum, how visible it is. The 2018 penny, despite being modern, checks all these boxes when an error or unique strike is involved. It's rare, if proven, desired, because of hype, historically interesting, as a modern oddity, and highly visible due to viral media. That's the perfect storm for exponential valuation. But let's talk about something deeper: human nature. The idea that something ordinary can secretly be priceless resonates with people on a primal level. It's the Cinderella story of objects. A penny, discarded on the ground, turns out to be worth millions. That's not just economics. That's poetry. It whispers a message: pay attention to the small things. Because what's truly valuable might already be in your hand. That's the emotional heartbeat of every coin story. The reason millions of people spend hours watching slow, detailed videos of coins under magnifying glasses isn't greed, it's wonder. It's that childhood feeling of finding a shiny rock and thinking, maybe this is special. The 2018 penny is a reminder of that feeling in adult form. But let's peel another layer: the historical ripple effect. In decades past, when rare coins were discovered, they sparked changes in minting quality and inspection standards. For instance, after the 1955 and 1972 double die cents, the U.S. Mint implemented tighter die alignment protocols. After the 1982 composition switch errors, stricter metal verification systems were added. Similarly, if a major 2018 error, say a wrong planchet strike or misaligned die, were officially recognized and authenticated, it could lead to new minting protocols in Philadelphia or Denver to prevent repetition. Ironically, that makes genuine errors even rarer, because every fix reduces future accidents. In other words, every error that escapes the mint is a historical fingerprint, evidence of a moment before perfection took over. That's why collectors romanticize mint errors. They aren't flaws. They're the human touch in an age of machines. Now, let's talk about something even more fascinating: the psychological value curve. When a rumor starts, like, the 2018 penny worth $32 million, curiosity spikes, then doubt sets in. But then comes the second wave, where serious collectors investigate. They publish findings, create detailed videos, and break down the coin's metallurgical composition, minting process, and anomalies. That educational wave is what sustains long-term value. So, even if the myth began as exaggeration, it evolves into scholarship. That's how legends turn into legitimate history. And make no mistake, the coin market thrives on stories that mix myth and math. You see it with the 2009 formative years, pennies, the 1999 wide AM variety, the 1972 double die, and now, the 2018 shield cent. Each has its own mythology. And the longer the story lasts, the more powerful it becomes. But here's something most people don't realize. Coins outlive trends. Think about it. Social media trends fade in days. But coins, real, tangible, enduring coins, last centuries. Every 2018 penny, whether sitting in a drawer or buried in soil, will likely outlast everyone watching this video right now. That's the quiet power of numismatics. Now, let's step into the future market projection for the 2018 cent. Experts predict that within 10 to 20 years, high-grade 2018 era coins could enter the elite category of modern rarities. Why? Because mint technology keeps improving, making such errors increasingly impossible. When human imperfection disappears from production, the last few flawed survivors become artifacts of chaos. By 2040, if only a few pristine, authenticated 2018 double dies exist, they could easily cross the $1 million threshold at major auctions like Heritage or Stack's Bowers. And once one coin breaks that psychological barrier, the rest follow. Remember, markets don't move on logic. They move on stories that feel true. Now, imagine a future documentary. A camera pans across an auction hall, focusing on a tiny coin under glass. The voiceover says, "Once worth 1 cent, now valued at over $32 million. This 2018 shield cent changed how the world saw modern coins." It sounds cinematic now, but it could happen. Because that's how every legendary coin story sounds before it becomes history. Let's ground ourselves again. The 2018 penny's actual composition is 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, with a mass of 2.5 grams and a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. It features a plain edge, and its mint marks, P, D, or S, tell its birthplace, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Those facts never change. But what does change is meaning, the emotional layer humans project onto those facts. For some, it's just metal. For others, it's a mystery, a dream, a symbol of luck. And that's why this coin, this 2018 penny, matters. It represents something timeless. The idea that even the smallest things can hold unimaginable potential. When you think about it, isn't that the story of humanity itself? We start small, we get overlooked, but with a little imperfection, a little uniqueness, we become priceless. So, the next time you find a penny lying face up, don't just see a coin. See history, art, and possibility compressed into 2.5 grams of metal. Because one day, that tiny piece might be the bridge between your ordinary life and an extraordinary discovery. And maybe, just maybe, when someone asks about the 2018 1-cent coin that was once rumored to be worth $32 million, the story they'll tell will be yours. Imagine this, you're standing in a quiet room. The lights are dim, and in front of you, under a soft glass display, rests a tiny copper coin. It's not shining like gold, it's not decorated with diamonds. It's simple, ordinary, humble. Yet people whisper about it as if it's alive. Some say it's worth $32 million, others say it's just 1 cent, but as you stare at it, you realize something profound. Maybe its real worth isn't in dollars at all, because this coin, this small round piece of metal, carries more than currency. It carries time. It carries the breath of the worker who pressed it in 2018, the hum of the minting machine, the fingerprints of countless hands, the heartbeat of the world it traveled through. Vending machines, pockets, dreams. It's been lost and found, ignored and cherished. It has lived, and that's what makes it priceless. The 2018 penny is not just a coin, it's a storyteller. It's a silent witness to everyday life. It has seen happiness and heartbreak, the rise of digital money, and the fading of physical change. It has crossed borders, slipped through generations, and yet still carries Abraham Lincoln's unblinking gaze, a symbol of endurance through centuries. When you think about it deeply, money is just a language we created to describe value. But the 2018 penny teaches a different kind of language, the value of awareness. It whispers, if you want to find something extraordinary, you must learn to look closely at the ordinary. That's the real secret behind every legendary discovery. Because every $32 million penny began as 1 cent in someone's hand, and the only difference was someone noticed it. You see, luck isn't magic. Luck is curiosity that decided to act. Maybe that's what drives coin collectors, historians, and dreamers alike, the idea that the world still hides miracles in plain sight. The 2018 penny became famous because people dared to believe there was something more beneath its copper surface. And that belief itself became valuable. Let's pause for a second and imagine its journey. It might have been struck in Philadelphia, fresh and gleaming, sliding down a steel chute into a bin among thousands of twins. It was counted, bagged, shipped to a bank, and poured into circulation. It might have landed in a child's piggy bank, or as change in a gas station, or maybe it fell behind a couch for years. Dust gathered, time passed, and one day, someone found it again. And under the right light, the world changed. That's not fiction. That's the quiet miracle of reality. You and I walk past miracles every day. We just don't always recognize them. That's what makes the 2018 penny a legend. Not its composition, not even its rumored value, but what it represents. The meeting point of chance, craftsmanship, and human attention. Think about this. Billions of 2018 pennies were made, but only a handful caught the world's imagination. That's a reflection of life itself. Billions of people exist, but only a few shine because they dared to see differently, to look deeper, to turn something small into something infinite. Oh yes, maybe one 2018 penny really will sell for $32 million someday. Maybe it already has, quietly, in a private collection where legends are born behind closed doors. But whether or not the number is true, the idea behind it is. Because that coin, that tiny piece of zinc and copper, reminds us that value is not always visible. It reminds us that history never stops writing itself, sometimes in books, sometimes in coins, sometimes in the smallest moments that we almost overlook. Maybe that's why coin collecting endures while trends fade. Every coin is a time capsule, a handshake between generations. When you hold one, you're holding not just metal, but meaning. And meaning, unlike metal, never rusts. The next time you hear about the 2018 1-cent coin, don't just think about money. Think about wonder. Think about how something so small could inspire millions to learn, to search, to dream. Think about the spark it creates. That moment when someone's heart beats faster as they realize they might be holding a hidden treasure. That feeling, that heartbeat, is worth more than any auction. Because in that instant, the world feels magical again. Maybe that's the real reason the story of the 2018 penny refuses to die. It gives us permission to believe that even in a world obsessed with big things, something as small as a penny can change everything. It's not just metal. It's memory. It's mystery. It's meaning. And that, my friend, is why a 1-cent coin can be worth more than gold. When you close this video, maybe you'll look at your pocket change differently. Maybe tonight, you'll spill a handful of coins onto your table, under the warm light, and wonder if one of them has a secret. Maybe you'll feel that pulse of curiosity, that soft whisper of possibility. Because who knows, Maybe one of those little 2018 pennies isn't just a coin. Maybe it's a key to a story, a fortune, a legacy. And when history tells its next great numismatic tale about the penny that stunned the world, it might not begin in a museum. It might begin in your hands. So hold it carefully, look closely, and remember, sometimes the smallest things hold the biggest stories. Sometimes the least valuable things teach the greatest lessons. And sometimes the coin everyone ignored turns out to be worth $32 million. Not because of what it's made of, but because of what it means. Fade the screen to black. Soft music swells. A blend of mystery and inspiration. A final line appears on screen. Keep looking. The next treasure might already be in your pocket. The outro music fades, and silence lingers for just a moment. Because every viewer, whether collector, dreamer, or skeptic, is left with one haunting question: what if it's true?